Team28 and we have designed a language called LOL. LOL is a high-level language which has some powerful features such as dynamic type checking and automatic memory management. It supports primitive data types such as integer, boolean and string, as well as non-primitive data types such as stack. It has a long list of features which we will be explaining in the upcoming slides. Let's get familiar with the language syntax and the constructs. LOL requires each statement to end with a colon, and as I said, it is a dynamic typing. By that, I mean the data type of the variables will be decided at the runtime. It supports single line as well as multi-line comments, and these are the syntax. Getting user input and printing user in the value of a variable is very easy with the use of scan and print keywords. LOL supports both functions with parameters and as well as with no parameters. And func is a keyword, fname is a function name, fstart and fn decides the function block, and we use the parameters within consecutive angle brackets. LOL supports decision constructs such as if else and looping constructs such as while, and these are the syntax.
Now that we've looked into the basic syntax of LOL language, we shall look into the various functionalities that LOL supports. The first one is assignment operation. So let us just look into one of the corresponding programs. So here we are getting the value from the user and storing it in the variable a using the scan function. Then we are assigning the value of a plus 1 to the variable b, and we're printing the variable b using this print statement. So let me just go and compile this. So I've compiled the assignop.lol program. So this is the corresponding intermediate file with .asm extension. So let me just run. So it asks for entering the input. So I'm giving 3, so it will be printing 4 because it is a plus 1. So the next functionality that LOL supports is decision construct, which is supported using if-else statement. So the corresponding if statement program is we are getting the user input into a, and if you're checking whether a is greater than 10, if it satisfies the condition, it will enter the if block. If it does not, it will enter the else block. So I'm giving 15, which will satisfy the condition, so it should enter the if block. It has entered the if block. So now I'm giving 5, which will not satisfy the condition, so it should enter the else block. The next support is for iteration, which will be giving through while statement. So let us look into the program. I have created a factorial program using an iterative way. So here I'm using this while block for performing operation to calculate the factorial of a given number. So I'm taking the number and calculating the factorial here. So let me just run this program. So I'm giving an input for 4. So the factorial is 4 is 24. So it should print the result as 24. The factorial result is 24.
So now let's look at another feature of the LOL programming language, which is recursion. Here we are using the factorial program again, but we are calling the function recursively until the factorial is computed. So here the ABC function calculates the factorial, but it in turn calls the ABC function with another parameter repeatedly until the factorial is computed. So now let us run this program. So now if we give an input as 5, the factorial of 5, which is 120, is been calculated. So moving on to the next feature, which is the parameterized function. We'll look at the Fibonacci series example for this. Here the Fibo function receives various parameters throughout the program and calculates the Fibonacci series. Now let us run this program. Here initially we have printed the Fibonacci series as a reference. Now if we want to print the sixth element of the Fibonacci series. We give 6 as the input and 8 is given as an output to the user. So now moving on to the next feature, which is the scope resolution. Our LOL programming language supports both global and local parameters. The global parameters here is b, which is declared to be 1, and the local parameters again b, but the value of b which is being changed locally will not affect the global parameter. So now if we run this program, the value of b will be changed only locally, whereas the global value of b will remain the same, which is 1. So as we see here, the global value of b remains the same, which is 1, whereas locally it has been changed to 14.
So now we'll talk about the data structure that LOL programming language is supporting. So we've implemented stack, and we've also given support for the various operations of stack, that is push, pop, and pick. So I'm taking a look at the corresponding stack program. So we have declared a stack variable a. We are pushing 1, 5, and 8 into the stack. Then we are doing a pick operation and then printing the topmost element. Then we are performing a pop operation, removing the topmost element and picking it again. So the last statement will be printing the next topmost element. So let me just run. The stack program. So I've inserted 158, the topmost element is 8. Then I've performed a pop operation that has removed the top element. Now the next top is 5. So let us look at the intermediate code generation. So we have basically used Flex and Bison to come up with a LOL compiler file, which on getting the source file compiles into the corresponding intermediate code.
We have implemented runtime using C# and our intermediate code uses stack-based machine model, which uses postfix notation to evaluate sub-expressions. So let's see this in action by using a sample intermediate code. This gets value from the user, it associates into a variable, it pushes the value into the stack, and it also pushes 4 onto the stack, it performs multiplication, and it displays it the product. So let's try to run this function. Now if you provide 3 star 4 is 12, so the answer would be 12.
So let us talk about the error handling that LOL language supports. So suppose I am doing an error in this assignment operation example. So instead of this equal to operation, I'm giving a symbol like EQ, which should give me a syntax error. Now let me just compile this program. So while I'll be compiling this program, it will show me a syntax error. It is showing the syntax error for the string EQ at line number 3. Thank you so much for your time.